right, everybody. It's not the usual face you see starting Sunday fellowship, but Tim and Hannah are unavailable at the moment. So I guess we're stuck with me right now. I don't know if they're going to come in tonight, but we will see. We'll have to see. Let's see what we got going on here. We'll go home again here. Try to get what's been posted live, so I can post me that message in the chat. So when you guys come in, it will be available to you to enter if you'd like. And to tell you the truth, I would really like because there's nothing planned for the day. Just enjoying the. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Glad to see you here. Let me work on this for a minute, and I will try to see about getting a link in here. I know it's not normally. You're ready for a nap? Would you be pulling? You been pulling supers today? I've got about 100 pounds in the last couple of days. Well, part of it was last week, and part of it was today. I've already started infusing some of the honey, getting it ready for. Uh, hey, Catherine, how you doing? Glad you joined us tonight. I know it's not the normal Sunday fellowship, guys, but we'll keep it that way for Hannah and Tim. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to make it in tonight. Uh, they asked me if I wanted to go live because they didn't. So that's what we're doing. We're working on that. I'm trying to get some link in here. So if anybody wants to join and tell them their experiences today or this week or the past few weeks um, with the, with, hopefully they've been doing honey collecting. So we'll see what happens. Oops. Don't want to go there. Doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm messing myself up today. Uh, no, 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 no. I'm trying to send myself back pin message. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. All right, the message is pinned, guys, with the link. Hey, Grayson, how you doing today? I'm glad to see you making it in. Oh, you did Mother's Day yard work today? Tired? Yeah, I did. I laid on my butt. Other than setting stuff to infuse some honey today with some pepper. I'm making some hot, smoky, hot, sweet honey. That's a pretty big seller last year besides the creamed honey. Well, I'm glad you guys are happy that somebody was on. I know I failed you guys today, but my hands have been full for the last few weeks. I'm trying to play yard work a little bit and tend to the bees to make sure that because Tallow's not too far. Tallow's starting to show big time. So I'm going and trying to get them sort of prepared. Uh, Hopefully this week I'll finish up some more of my supers and I get them to start pulling those. My queen threw a little monkey wrench in one of my boxes. She decided she was going to lay all in the super. It isn't a little super; it's a deep super. So she got like 5 frames in the middle of that thing, jacked up. So hey Russell, James, how you doing today? Larimore, how you guys doing? Shane, here we go. Uh, hey, you knew somebody would rescue you. I was sitting there thinking about it when I didn't see it by about 6:30. I didn't see a post, and then I looked at my messages and saw that Tim had texted me to talk, and he said that he wasn't going to be on. So we're running. I'm trying to run with it, I guess. Anybody want to come in? Click the link in the messages over here so that we can maybe we can expand this a little while, try to get a good 2 hours out of this. I'm not as entertaining as Hannah and Tim, but hey Brian, hey Richard, hey Russell, uh, how you guys all doing today? And Brian, why don't you come on in and visit with me for a little bit? I'm not going to talk about creamed honey. I know everybody wants to talk to you about cream honey. I want to get some ideas. I'm infusing honey, but I'm not with peppers, but I'm not using fresh wet peppers. I found that worked last year, and it didn't interfere with the water content. Well, especially right now too. My honey, I did a refractometer on it, and it's like 16 and a half to 17%. So it's on the median side of moisture content. It's not high. So even if I did want to use fresh ones, I probably could get away with it without having to dry it out. Hey, Darren, you think I'm entertaining? Probably because I'm probably about an idiot sometimes. Yeah, I guess that has to be part of who we are. Deal with bees. We got to do some crazy things. Hey, Michael Tangway. Uh, so anybody wants to join me, they're welcome. Uh, I don't have the readings that Tim's got. I don't have any of that right now. But I think I'm getting pretty versed and hands on. I know that my hands are going to be really full here soon. You pulled 8 frames yesterday. They checked at 15. Oh, that's lower than I'm getting. And I got that after we had a hard rain for a couple of days and got that reading I got. When I Because I didn't wasn't pulling fully frames. So when I spun it, I wanted to verify that my moisture content. I shook them; they didn't come out. It didn't come out. So I wanted to verify my moisture content. Uh, so I got running honey, and I got some stuff sitting in infusing. Um, I'm wondering if I'm gonna have anything. If the moisture content is that low, I'm wondering if I'm gonna have anything that is gonna be wet enough or to crystallize. And we got welcome in Tom. Tom, how you
Hey, Ed.
doing? So what you been up to besides yard work today?
Well, I went through a bunch of hives, uh, all the swarms. I went through some of them and see how the queens were. Everything looked good. Didn't say I got sunburned.
You're a little bit red around the collar there,
Yeah, getting my hat on. There we go.
yeah. Well, you weren't glaring me. You weren't glaring me, so your head was red enough. It wasn't showing the glare. So yeah, I got him laughing in the other room over there on the other side of the wall, talking about that. So
Yeah, everything was looking good. I added 6 more supers on, added a couple deeps on the swarms that needed a second box now on the smaller swarms. So crazy.
yeah, I may find myself in trouble here in a little bit if I don't hurry up with building some boxes because I got like 6 nukes, and I think 3 of those 6 are starting to burst at the seams. So I don't want them in. I don't want them to swarm on me.
Yeah, I had one nuke this week swarm on me. I was going to put it in the 10 frame. Guess that was Friday night. I was going to put it in the 10 frame and I go, oh shoot, they already swarmed. But I still saw like 2 day old larvae in there. So they just swarmed the last 2 or 3 days. But I couldn't find them. I don't know where they went.
Yeah, I've been walking around my yard. I've been taking the swarm lure and spraying it on some low limbs. So if they do decide to swarm, they're going to go on a low limb. It's what my pretense is on that activity. Yeah.
right. Well, I put two boxes out today, two of my swarm tote boxes, just in case, since I still work for a living.
Well, with all that swarming I had, I've only got one swarm box still that's actually sitting out on a pallet that's usable right now. So there's that.
One, one at my brother's farm, one at my friend's house, one at my company that I know real well. That's three. Oh, and I got one at in a bee tree, but the trees decide to go in the bees decide to go in the tree and not my trap. And they die every year in the same tree. And I can't do a trap out in it because it's got too many holes in it. I mean, I could, but I'd have to buy fencing and put it all the way around the tree.
Well, yeah, really. Um,
Not worth the effort.
yeah, I had baited a swarm that one video with the big swarm that I got this year that I had
Yeah,
on. Um, those came from a double deep, and so it was a big swarm. It was like 10 pounds, and for some reason I had a baited box, but they didn't even go for it. They went straight up into the tree. Ended up chopping the top out of the tree to get them out.
well, when they come out of a hive, they're going to a tree or they're going to something first. And then they'll gather their wits to find a home.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to keep out most of my limbs. Some of my low limbs around. They're right around the boxes, so I'm hoping that they'll go to those.
Yeah,
But you know how you trim them usually when you ride a riding lawnmower, so you don't whack yourself with them going around the yard. Well, a few of them I leave that way, so I have to push them up as I drive by, just so that way they have something. Try to entice them on a lower limb.
yeah. I
But they're
need to
gonna do what they're
update
gonna
my
do.
I need to update my picture.
Yeah.
But if you look, I got a bunch of small oak trees up in my field. So most of the time they land in one of those. So I don't have to worry. Sometimes they go to the left and go towards into the woods and those tall trees. But a lot of times they land in those small oak trees I got.
Well, I thought I had time with swarming this year, but next year with 18 boxes right now. I'm amazing. I'm imagining or thinking. Hopefully, I'm probably imagining more than thinking that in June, if I do some splits of those double deeps, knock them down early before winter in the early part of June, then I'm gonna end up having another 7 boxes on top of those 18. So
Yeah,
you know that
I
that
was.
way, sure.
I'll be doing something similar, but once I pull the honey, usually about the middle of July, I usually hold off for the clover bloom, and then I'll steal a frame of brood, one or two broods, and fill up my horizontal hives, and then I'll graft. I'll be grafting at the same time and put a bunch of birds and cells in for new queens for next year. That's how I minimize my swarming. I only had two hives,
Yeah.
two hives swarmed today, an 8 frame nuke, mating nuke swarmed on me, and now there's 5 frame.
Well,
But none of my hives swarmed.
and it was one. And but the funny part about it was that in June, one of the two, I split both the deep double deeps I had. I split those and successfully split them, and they continued on. But one of the double deeps went and repopulated fast again. So that was one of the ones that swarmed later on. I figured in January, I was like, it was like mid-January, I made two big tearing off splits. I mean, I split the hive right down the middle, and they still went and swarmed. So one of them swarmed. The other one's just still is doing good. I mean, it's grown and doing good, but I was crazy.
Yeah, Yeah,
It
I
could.
went into one, I went into one hive today, and it was a queen that I had grafted. It was a mated queen in my horizontal hive. So I put her in a little, one of those wooden cages, and I stuck some marshmallow in there, and I put them in a hive in a cast swarm that didn't have a queen 2 weeks ago. And I went in there today to get the cage out finally. I usually wait a week, but I was kind of busy, and she was still in there. They had never eaten the candy, the marshmallow out, but they were feeding her. I mean, she was still alive, and all the 5 or 6 bees I threw in there were still alive. So I manually released her
If she's been in there
today.
that long, they're pretty sure if they've been feeding her and they haven't tried to kill her through the cage, she should
Yeah,
be
they
all
were
right.
feeding her, and the other bees. So
Yeah,
I
so
manually released her. The bees got all excited. It's kind of fun to watch the bees get all excited when they get a queen.
they can actually touch her. All of them touch her as she walks through. It's like, yay! Yeah.
Yeah, and they start flying out of the box and flying back in
You
at
know
the
what's funny
entrance.
when you watch her on a frame after you've done that and you have a new queen on the frame and she's walking across that frame and you're holding it and you'll see I call them cheerleader bees. Get on the others and they'll bounce like this. Hey, 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 hey. You know, they'll start bouncing
Yeah,
on 'em, like they, you can tell how excited they are.
yeah. But I was just doing a lot of edging and weed whacking, and my left knee is shot. I'm hoping I can
Uh,
sleep tonight.
well, I'm pretty sure you will if you've been out there. Well, I don't know how hot you are right now.
Well, I got a bad knee. I'm getting a knee replacement in September, or end of August, early September. Don't have the date set yet, but I will in a few weeks. So,
Keith saying hello, all you chatty bee folks. Well, anybody
yeah,
has a wife or their ladies listening, happy Mother's Day to them. You
yeah.
know,
Happy Mother's Day to all of them.
and
And
Shane, I pulled about 100 pounds. Shane,
I
he's
could pull
happy.
honey, and I might have to pull honey because I only have two medium supers left, and about 5 deeps left out of my, I don't know how many boxes I have, a few hundred.
Well, I'm gonna have to buy. I have to buy more staples and some more glue and some more wood, and I start building some more boxes. I got something soon, or I'm gonna have me a big problem.
Yeah, I checked some of my boxes today, and I'm going to definitely have a record haul of honey this year.
Well, if I make over 400, last year I made 400 off of 2 boxes.
Wow.
Now, this year, if I make twice that much, I'll be happy. But it won't. It'd be a record for me. But
Right. Well, my biggest hive's got 6 boxes on it, 1 deep and 5 medium supers. And they've got all but maybe one filled. I just put another one on them yesterday.
and Dan's got something that says Tom needs a winter rebuild item.
Well, that's why I'm doing it in September because they say it would take 2 months and then it'll take a whole year to heal 100%. So
Well, I knew
I want to get,
a guy who rides motorcycles. He wasn't able to ride for almost a year and a half before they let him ride again. Put the
well,
weight on the knee.
this is my left foot, so it shouldn't affect my driving, once the pain part goes away.
Yeah, he was
So
good. I had a knee surgery once, just a surgery, and it took me about a year before I could actually physically run again. Shoot,
yeah,
I'd walk faster on one leg.
I had mine done 10 years ago. In August will be 10 years. So the doctor told me it'd be back around eight to 10 years. I just waited to 10 years. I lived with it too long. Even when we were in Nobby, I was limping on the leg and I was sitting down. Or you remember, I caught up to you a few times sitting down just because I couldn't walk anymore.
Yeah, I hear that. Hey, Grayson, and hey, Redfish,
Hey, Jeanette and Jack,
and Jeanette
Redfish,
and Jack. Yes,
Richard, Keith, everybody's out today. We need somebody else to
yeah,
join in.
yeah. That'd be nice. You got Keith there. You got Brian. I know that usually do pretty good help out. Anybody's willing. If you're willing to talk, this ain't about having a big mouth. It's just having a mouth. Yeah, yeah. So and sharing your experiences in your yard. Because the blessings that we've been given.
But I
So
nothing else really new. Just keep adding boxes. Keep adding boxes.
that's about it right now. Tallow's getting ready to crank up. I was trying to get all my I guess it's this year I didn't quite get a lot of orange flavor in my honey. Like last year, I guess the satsuma didn't bloom the way it should have. Uh, but it's got some of a blackberry and privet mix, I believe, and probably a little bit of last year's honey left, end of the year honey in it.
Yeah,
So it's a good flavor. It's just not what I was expecting when I pulled it. And probably a little bit of holly too, the holly bushes.
okay. Yeah. Our holly, they haven't bloomed yet. But a lot of stuff has bloomed.
Some people call them gallberry too, call gallberry bushes too.
Right.
Um, so I thought I'd mention that because last time we were talking, and I was in a chat, they were asking what was gallberry. I told them holly, and there's a couple versions of holly, but that's the pretty standard bush is the gallberry.
Right. So I'm going to try to update my picture, but I have to get it off my phone. I'm on my computer now. That's why it took a while.
So so Brian, where you headed this week, Brian? He said he's packing his truck, getting ready for this week. Yeah,
I know
Don,
where he's
Don,
headed.
my hands don't swell up like they used to. That's why I take this ring off my finger every time I go and I get into bees. It's because my fingers decide they want to swell up, but my hands and my arms don't swell up like they used to. I've been doing pretty good. So I mean, I guess it's just because the type of blood flow that's in your hand is the only thing I can think of why you have a reaction, or you just could be building. You may not be building the resistance up to it. Could be a couple of
Right.
things. So I'd go check into an EpiPen just in case. You know, don't want to have you caught out there in the yard by yourself and you gasping for air. Nobody sees you out there till about an hour or two later, and it's too late.
I'm just
Uh,
updating my
oh,
background.
yeah. Brian
Just
was saying he's just hitting his yard, all of his yards, and getting switched out for market stuff for bee work stuff. Okay.
all right. I updated my background from 2 weeks ago, but these hives, these hives got another layer on them, and the one behind me, these two, are now at six, and all these got like another box on them just in the
I
past
know.
2 weeks.
I noticed the leaf difference on that tree to your left in that picture, or your right on the picture. The
What's that?
leaf the leaf, the green, the greenage on that tree, on
Yeah,
the end down there. There's a lot more leaf on it now than there was in the first picture.
right.
It's a little
Yeah,
fuller.
so I think that was a February picture. Or April, might have been April. So
Catherine has
yeah,
asked, Catherine here has asked if anybody has had any experience with the Hive IQ. I know that it's an app for your phone. Um, I think I downloaded it when it first came out and found out you had to pay for it. And so it's like I do it. I'm a skinflint. If I can do it for free, I'll do it for free. But
I would.
I don't know that much about it.
Now I'll be 25. I plan on buying about four of those high Q hives when they go on sale. If they go on sale, I'm thinking just to try them out, at least a couple.
I've been thinking about poly hives, but I don't know if it's going to really be worth it where I'm
Right,
at because it doesn't get that cold. One, it doesn't get that cold. Grandy R value is good, better than wood, but
right.
I don't know, and I'd probably help with the heat, but I don't know about the moisture. I have high humidity where we're at. I'm an hour and a
Right,
half away from the Gulf, and so we have a fairly humid area.
right. You got perfect weather for small hive beetles.
For the most part, yeah. I haven't had too big an issue the last few years. I say that with a grain of salt because this is my third year. I don't know. I had one hive. I had a little bit of an issue, but it wasn't bad. But for the most part, I only see maybe 10 at the most,
I
and I
saw
squish them when I see them.
I saw my first two this week on one hive. So we only get a few during the fall time. Usually July, a little early this year because it's been warm.
Yeah, yeah. Keith's had a busy day today too. I wish I could have went to see my mom, but she's in South Carolina and I'm in Alabama.
So you'd be thinking how red I am. I was down south today.
Yeah, yeah, really. Where you went to Panama City?
Red. I didn't think I was this red. Oh well. I usually don't peel, so it'll just turn tan. I think the cameras make me look red too.
Well, it could be the setting on it too. But then
Yeah,
again, too, you don't actually see what you really look like with your eyes. The camera's picking up the actual color.
right.
I have a comment, Dan. I says I appreciate you saying that, but I sort of felt bad too that I missed my normal night, giving my live. So I don't mind helping Tim out. Tim is a good
Yeah,
guy. I love hanging out with him. He's
that's cool.
country as can be, and I love him to death.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I did build 60 more swarm traps this week for next year, basically. Um, using those blue totes. I'm a big fan of all swarm traps should be blue.
I don't know. I don't have anything to back that one up for you. I have no clue.
Well,
I do. Go
I
ahead.
had one blue tote that I built, I don't know, 3 years ago, and wherever I put it, I catch a swarm in it. And I put it in like three different places. This year, I put it in two different places and caught two swarms.
Is it that thick blue tote you use, or
Yeah, it's an 18-gallon blue tote. I'm putting a video out probably sometime this week. I made some content up on how, the dimensions, how to build it. I just haven't released it yet.
Well, I was thinking maybe that the blue tote eliminates some, like, some people hang out um, the lighter colored plastic containers and stuff, and maybe the blue tote. I don't know if it has color or the lack of light coming through the side. You know, it's
Yeah,
darker.
it
It
is
could be
probably
because
darker inside
and
because
which
it's a solid
may
blue
be a
plastic,
factor.
right? No, there's no cracks except for the lid, and that's probably pretty minimal. But I don't know what it is. It just seems to work. And I only have one swarm trap I've ever put on a tree. I just put them wherever I go to the person's place. I find a shady spot and put it on a table or put it on a chair. I got one sitting on a rain barrel, one of those 55-gallon rain barrels. Got one sitting on that. That caught a swarm. So I usually put
Um,
them up
well,
against some structure.
DC says here because the bee. Well, I know the bees see in ultraviolet, but the blue isn't really a blue color to them,
Right,
which may be a factor too. I mean, I don't know for sure.
right.
Oh, where do we go here? Oh, I hit the wrong message there. uh, so talking about swarms, how you guys been doing with these swarms? Uh, Swarm
I've
catches. I know Keith's usually on the top up there.
I've
Usually.
caught 23 swarms this year. I could have got one today if I was paying attention on my phone. I got a phone call, but I was too busy working out in the yard and I didn't check my phone. It was pretty close to me, probably a 10-minute drive.
Yeah, Chris says Chris is usually up there too. He usually catches a lot of swarms.
Yeah,
Hey Chris, how you doing this evening?
yeah, he's here. Hey, Chris, he just
Well,
posted.
I know somebody around me here. He comes into a couple of our chats. Jeremy Hortzog. Um, he started off with 3 hives, and the way he manages them is he goes and overfeeds them um, till they swarm, and he catches the swarms, and that's how he splits his hives.
Right.
And so yeah, he went from 3 to 30 this year.
I would save all that work catching them and just split them the week before.
Yeah, but it's I don't know if it gives him. He states that it gives it by splitting so early, letting them swarm earlier and catching those splits gives them time all to build up or get ready for the flow. From what he was saying the other day, he's got like maybe 23 out of the 30 that he can pull honey off of right now. He's waiting for him to finish capping it.
Right.
I mean, that's a boom. I don't know if I could have handled that.
Yeah,
You know,
but
I'm
you could take a double deep that each has the bottom box 6 frames of brood and the top's got 2 or 3 and split them up 5 and 5 or 4 and 4, depending how many broods you got. And both of those would be rocking within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they'd be booming again. So if you did that a month before flow, or as early as possible, you'd be in good shape.
Well, you figure they got people say that if you have an overloaded single deep and you start putting well, I've heard it said, I don't know if it's how factual, but if you have a overloaded single deep, that's I mean that when you open it up, it boom, it boils out, and you start putting supers on them. That's how you get them to pull a lot of nectar.
Yeah, yeah, I run single brood management. So all these hives you see back here, I got queen excluders on top of the bottom box. So the rest of them are all honey boxes on every one of them, except for these. I run two 6 framers on these, and then a queen excluder. Just because I found out 6 frames is getting a little tight just for this area.
Huh. DC's starting to catch up to our weather down here. He said,
Yeah, and since that, the Ohio Valley's catching up to the Tennessee Valley weather last few years.
my boy has to have attention all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't have any cats or dogs because we're both, my wife and I are allergic to them. So it's bees instead.
Well, one thing I can say about the cat though is that I don't have mice in my hives. He keeps killing them and
Well,
dragging them in here.
my answers are only 3/8 in all my boxes, so I don't get mice too much either. I know they can get in 3/8, but that's a tight fit for them, and I've never had a mouse in my hive.
Uh, this is a cool. DC says they're starting to cool back off in the 70s again instead of the 80s.
I think it's
Uh,
75 here.
yeah, 74 where I'm at now. It has been cooler over the week this weekend.
It's 72 now. Yeah, the sun's about set, or it is. Yeah,
Yeah, this is the busiest time of year between gardening and bees
yeah,
and and running a full time job too.
right.
So,
I got everything planted in my garden except for 4 or 5 tomato plants. I got the cherry tomatoes planted, two of those, but I got 4 or 5 more tomato plants to plant.
boy, yeah, I stuck the reapers in some honey today. Reaper peppers,
Okay.
and they've actually got a heat on them already, and they're dry peppers. I haven't I got used them dried. That's what I did last year. I used a smoked jalapeno, dried smoked jalapeno, and that worked out really nice. It was a pleasant surprise how it turned out. It wasn't spicy, but I have an order in from my stepson for some really hot honey. So so I'm making
Yeah,
him a batch of Reaper smoked Reapers. You know,
yeah, there's the reapers. Yeah.
I've got scorpion peppers and I've got ghost peppers too. So
I can't handle that stuff. I used to love hot food and I could eat, well, when I could handle it, the ghost, I could just eat ghost peppers plain, but not anymore.
I've never eaten it that like that.
Just take a bite of it,
Habanero is mostly the hottest usually can handle by itself.
but not anymore. My stomach my body won't handle it anymore.
It's got inflammatory properties to them though, which is good.
Right.
But
Yeah, I'm
but
with Dave, DC. I'm gonna make some hot honey on this when I pull all this honey uh this summer. I
yeah,
might
but
have to pull some of it in the next couple of weeks just because I need more boxes.
but
I have to pull and
what's
extract it.
funny is that the hot stuff sells. Believe it or not, you know
Yeah,
the smoke, the pepper flavored and the hot that honey, flavor honey like that sells quick.
I want to make a hot cream honey too. I'll make the hot honey and then cream it. See how that goes. Maybe even smoke it. Make a hot smoked cream honey.
Dan, you don't really realize that the depth of that comment right now.
Yeah,
I do owe him for when I from way back. We lived in Austin, Texas, and on Sixth Street they had a hot pepper and salsa store, and and he liked hot stuff. So I said, oh, we'll go down there, we'll check stuff out, right? And we're tasting stuff, tasting. I had finished tasting, was looking at the walls and all the jars on the walls and stuff. He comes over with a toothpick and he says, "Here, taste this," right? And I took it like that, not even thinking about it, right? Thinking he's not going to eat nothing that high or give me something that high. It took me 45 minutes to catch my breath and to get the fire to subside. My lips still burnt to that evening, but I mean, the fire subsided. It took me 5 minutes. So every time I go to give him something, I get it the hottest I can find because it's a payback.
right.
So,
Yeah, but he's young. He probably can handle any of
well, he's got his daughter eating some hot stuff now too. So there's another one in the crew.
it.
So yeah, we made some hot
Yeah,
sauce one year. So hot, you walked in the room when it was simmering. The peppers were simmering and cooking and softening up. It take your breath away. Your eyes start watering. It was tough. We had to wear a mask to handle that stuff.
right. Yeah, I gotta stretch my leg out.
All right, redfish. What was that? I missed something here.
So much
Well,
better.
I mean, to give you guys an update, talking about prayers and stuff. My wife is doing a lot better. She's walking around pretty good now after that heart catheter. Um,
That's good.
yeah, the worst it can be is going to be that if the medication doesn't clear up some of the blockage or keep it where it's at, and it gets any thicker, then they're going to probably put a stent in.
Okay.
That's the worst it's going to be.
That
And
won't
she's
be
doing
too
all
bad. Hassle.
no.
Then
Um,
my wife's shingles is getting better, but her nerves, it affects her nerves a little bit right in that same area, and that's still bothering her a little more than anything. Nerves.
I'm gonna tell you something I heard, and it was actually came from the interview with Bob Benny. He
Yeah,
said he had shingles, and
I saw that.
he started singing himself ease. He says
Right,
he can't prove that's what caused the reverse and go down. And but he says that after he did that, it started reversing from the side of his head down his neck, and he said that it started getting smaller. He said, but it took a while for all that pain to go away.
yeah, he had a video. He made a YouTube of that, and it
Yeah.
really hurt. You could tell it really hurt while he was getting stung. 'Cause that
Well,
area is
I
so
didn't see the video. He said he made a video and showed it to his daughter. He said she
he
said told him
posted
he had
it.
to put it
It's
on.
not. If you go to Bob Benny, he unless he deleted it, he had he. I saw it when he did that. He had. I don't think it was that. Somebody else did the stinging for him.
But so apitherapy does work. Um, so I mean, I've heard DC say a few times that there's even showed studies where tumors have reversed growth or it's gotten smaller from being exposed to bee venom. So a lot to be said about it.
Right. Well, it's a lot of good. This bee venom is really good for you in the long run. No pain, no gain. You know what they say?
Sure. I took 10 hits yesterday. I was being dumb. I figured,
It took.
well, I'm putting these frames back in. They're wet frames. I'm putting them back in the hive. It should be all right. So I lifted the lid. and they had all congregated to the open spot because it was empty. So I went and knocked them off. Right, wrong answer. I lost my glass. I lost my glasses in the yard. I got hit in the head 10 times, and those bees
Oh
stayed
man,
mad at me for the rest of the afternoon. Every time I went out, two or three bees were looking for me.
wow. I
Man,
only
I
got
never
one
had them
in
that way.
the back of the head. One got me in the back of the head. It's like, why the heck they sticking me in the back of the head? Then the other day I got one. Day before I got one on the nose. Got a few on the hands, but nothing major. Oh, I got one in my bad knee. That was today. That was good. I need to do more to do therapy in my knee.
Inside the ledge of your nose, that's bad. Your ears, oh my gosh, I feel like someone hit you in the head with a two
Yeah,
by four. And then when they hit you in the
I've
back of
been.
the head, those three places really, really hurt. I mean,
I don't
not that a
know.
bee
I've been
sting
stung
doesn't
so many
hurt,
times
but
in my ears. I don't think it bothers me anymore. And my nose didn't swell up or nothing. So
I have
knock on
one
wood.
gambling right in the middle where there's actually I don't know if DC remembers it or not. We were on I was on a live and I was on my phone and I turned the phone around to lift open the box to show what the bees were looking like. When it did, I turned back around and that's when a bee had come up, landed on my nose and stuck me right in the edge of my nose. DC says,
Oh.
I think I saw, DC said, I think I saw your eyes water. I said, there wasn't no thinking about it. They started watering. That hurt. Pow, yeah.
Right.
I've been stung in the eyelid. I think it's one of the ones I was worried about the most because it's right on my eyelid, close to
Yeah,
get close to get me in the eye. And
that happens to me
great.
every year. They get stuck in my glasses and they sting me right in the
That
eyebrow.
that's
Then my
exactly
whole
where
eye swells because it's all soft tissue.
that's why exactly why they got hung up under the glasses.
Right.
DC says Ed cried. I did. I didn't cry like a baby, but my eyes watered up. I put it up there. I know. I ain't gonna lie about it. Uh,
So, a
He
lot
was
of
the
times
first.
if I'm going to be going in just more than just one or two hives, I'll put a veil on and that's it. Just so they don't
Well,
sting me in the face.
when I work with the nukes, I don't worry about a veil
Oh,
at
yeah.
all with the nukes. But once they get to the 10 frame box, they get enough numbers. They have more guards, and as you get
Right.
too deeps going, well, exponentially grows. So
Yeah,
you
we got
got
a
to
lot
do
more
something.
older bees too.
Yeah, a lot more older bees. But I always try to get into them in the early part of the morning or afternoon or late morning, early afternoon
Yeah.
because most of the foragers are gone at that time.
And I'm usually getting to my bees 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night in the evening, 8 o'clock, just because I'm working, not getting, until I get home from work.
You night farming? What are you talking about? My 7:30 is getting dark around here.
It's still it stays light till it's probably still light out right now. Yeah, it's a little bit. It's just now. I wouldn't call it dark yet. It's still light. It stays
I'm
light till
dark.
9 o'clock.
We're dark. We're dark.
Yeah. See, I'm at the very western of Eastern time. So it's almost an hour half an hour difference.
So
Another week in June, it's almost 10 o'clock before it gets dark.
shoot, out there where DC is, it's probably still daylight. Yeah, he's out there. He's out there mountain time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's, he's still big time in daylight.
And Dennis, most every bee in my yard came from a feral hive. Well, I say feral. It could have been someone else's, but they come and land in my yard. I consider them feral.
Yeah.
So, and I
I
actually think
know.
that actually think that the bees I have are actually two different. They're still Italian, but they're two different Italian breeds because
I got
they respond differently.
I got a swarm this year. It's from the Cincinnati Zoo, and they got like a little green tint to them
Huh?
at, at times when I see them. It's like, I don't have to treat them for mites. I know that. This hive is super VHS or something.
Okay, so DC is Pacific times or not Mountain. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So he said it's 6 p.m. right now. So
Yeah.
well, my bees I've noticed the only thing I've really noticed different in them as far as the way they respond to different. I have one set that's really fairly calm, and I get stung rarely by them. The other set just they'll come at you when you open the box, but I mean, you open a box, they're gonna some bees are gonna come at you anyway. But what I've noticed is that the colorization difference has I've noticed has been in the drones. I have one set that's lighter in color than the other. The others are almost black, dark black color, and I don't know what that difference is. I probably could gather some up and do some, testing on it and find out what I have. Hey Lee, how you doing?
Hey, Lee, he can hop on. Because I'm not going to stay on real late tonight. I got to ice up my knee big time after being on it so much today. I've iced it once so far.
What were
I
you
was
running a push
actually
mower?
couldn't sleep tonight. If I don't ice it, then it hurts even more.
What? DC is that? I'm just curious about that. You said you're an hour drive from Mount St.
Okay, I
Helens.
know that.
Is that place still sort of wrecked from that doggone volcano blowing up?
Um,
I haven't seen anything about it in years. That's why I was asking. That whole valley was wrecked.
about
I'm sure there's
25
still
years
trees.
ago, I took a helicopter over Mount St. Helens. So I was doing a project out there. And my friend I was working with knew the got it, did helicopter trips. So my friend actually flew, my co-worker friend, actually one who flew a helicopter. So we took one of his friend's helicopter, took it all over Mount St. Helens and all that area. Got probably within 30 feet above the dome, and it was so hot, it's closest we could get
Uh,
inside of it.
yeah, I remember the ash for a long time coming down out from that thing. And I
Yeah,
was in South Carolina. We were getting ash from it.
yeah,
He said it looks like a mini Grand Canyon gorge. It had a lot of new trees have all regrown.
yeah, I
Well, I'm sure
bet.
there's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot laying down on the ground still, but
Well,
there's probably no way to.
if I remember right, I think that Mount St. Helens, that dome that's building it grows like 6 feet a year or something like that. DC probably
Uh,
knows. So it's an active volcano.
well, I mean, when was that? It was in the 80s. It blew, wasn't it?
Yeah, easy sound right.
It's something about mid to late 80s.
Yeah, shoot, I haven't shoot.
Oh, this is about 30 to 40 years since Mount St. Helens popped. Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh. And you'd never know it. You would never known it if you haven't seen the changes in the land.
right.
The March 27th of 1980. Okay, so it was early 80s. That's what You know, that's one good thing about having Lee on. He'll fact check something we talk about,
Yeah, he's good at that.
and I appreciate that. D says he's about 10 or 11 at the time. Nine.
But he's only got he can pull it up on his other monitors. That's why he's talking.
Oh
Leave
shoot!
it up. Hit the next one.
I
Oh
was in
my
that. I
God.
was in. I went to visit. I went to visit him, and I sat in that office.
Oh
I was in.
yeah.
I was like, I'm like, man, that thing. It looks like a space station going on there.
Yeah, it's like my work office. I don't want anything to I don't want my home office to look anything like my work office.
Dan says Crater Lake is the place to see now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the whole side of that mountain just disappeared. Boom. Well, Yellowstone
Yeah.
National Park. Yellowstone National Park is nothing but a volcano caldera. So
Well, I used
I'd
to go
hate to see.
skiing all the time on Mount Hood when I was out there. That's a couple hours away. Yeah,
Yeah,
hour. Not that far though.
if Yellowstone decided to go up, blow up, they call it it's an extinction event. Yeah, so take the bike over there.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting ride.
Yeah. Dave said I was about right. I know it's really growing every year. You have to go up to the Columbia Gorge area, right there between Washington and oh gosh, next state I can't remember. Brain dead. That area is beautiful.
Yeah, I can believe that DC that it probably that because of ease of access, it probably will is most extensively studied volcano right now.
Yeah,
Mount St. Helens. It's actually functioning right at the moment. It's not laying dormant or
yeah.
venting.
It's an active volcano. I mean, it's growing.
Yellowstone vents a lot, so there's no chance. I wouldn't say no chance. I'd say there's limited chance that it's gonna
Yeah, the quarter
blow.
took 50 years to fill up a quarter, so another 150 years. So I guess every 200 years or 300 years, it probably blows. Every
Yeah,
300 years. They probably got a history on that. Lincoln look it up.
give Lee a minute. He can find that out. Sorry, someone just brought me a milkshake. Sorry, guys.
Oh man. Well, I had some Grater's ice cream, which is really good ice cream earlier. Raspberry chip. That's what I said. I was about ready for a nap. Some Wagyu hamburgers, that corn on the cob, and some ice cream. I was ready for a nap.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah,
salad go with it.
yeah, Dan, I'd have to give me a bigger bike before I'd have to travel that far. Sportster ain't gonna feel that great going across the plains. Yeah, so I'd get me a bigger bike. But yeah, that would be a nice ride. Good trip. Get my iron butt a trophy. Yeah, riding 3,000 miles nonstop. 2 hours south of Yellowstone. Okay. So Danae's not too far. Danae and Jack are not too far away from Yellowstone. They said they're like
Yeah,
about 2 hours south. That's a beautiful country up there, though. All those the mountains up there,
Oh yeah,
and wildlife probably is crazy because it's mostly national parks. So wildlife is all in there for protection, anyways. DZ
yeah,
said. DZ said, well, "Okay, Danae, let us know when it lights up." The mountain, Yellowstone.
yeah. It's Oregon and Washington. That Columbia Gorge there, beautiful area.
Yeah, Dan, that's my point. I'd have to have an iron butt to ride a sporty for 24 hours. 1,000 miles. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I got
don't get
about
me wrong.
only.
These guys are talking about the sporty. I was like, don't get me wrong, guys. I love my sporty, but I've ridden big bikes and I like them too. But the sporty is good for one individual for short distances, or maybe a 6 hour run. But for that's
Yeah,
the most I'd actually want to put on it.
that's what I should buy. I rode bike till I was, till my second son was born. Got rid of it and said, oh, 10 years, 15 years, I'll buy a new one. And now I'm an old man.
Yeah. And Dan's talking about a Beamer. I,
Got a
I want
soft
one of the rolling. I want one of
boy.
those rolling recliners they call that Harley's got.
Yeah,
You get a trike, get a trike, a rolling recliner. Well, Haley's Homestead, glad you dropped in. Good night. I said had 750 DC. DC's been a rider. Okay. So there's more than one rider. That's my other passion. I think that's why I like bees so much too, because the roar of the motorcycle, I enjoy it. It's calming to me. Roar of the bees is the other one.
there you go.
They're definitely different frequencies, but they're just as calming.
Get the road glide limited or something like that. Cruising down the road.
Or deluxe, fully
Or,
loaded
yeah, the deluxe.
with a 114. Yeah. It has a Milwaukee 8 engine in it, 114.
Right. My wife would kill me though. She's not a big she's not a big fan of them. Even though I had one when we got married.
uh, my wife didn't want me to have the one I got for the longest time. I used to ride way before I knew her. And didn't have one for a while, and went to visit her family, and there sat the sporty in the garage. They were talking about wanting to sell it. And I looked over at her, and started shaking her head. She knew she lost the fight. She knew she lost the fight, so I ended up getting it.
Right.
I paid 7 grand for a $10,000 motorcycle, and then went and turned around and bought a trailer to take it home. I lived in Texas and got it in Florida.
Wow. All right. What time is it? Yeah.
And Shane said I ride, but my ride is a real horse.
No horse. There's
Yeah, I
still
hear
one.
it. That's good. That's still fun too.
My neighbor behind me had a couple horses, but I think one died. I think they got one now, one black horse.
At DC, you can still ride. You just have to invest in a trike. You ain't got to worry about your inner ear balance. Then you got three wheels on the ground.
Yeah.
And I know three wheels is cheating, but put those two wheels behind you, not in front of you. Those K and M's, they have a tendency to want to try to roll.
The two in the front's not as bad, is it?
It has a tendency to want to roll. They
Okay.
designed the new Harleys, the Harley trikes. You
Yeah.
can you can't hardly turn them over. You can. It takes a lot to do it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They're a lot better. I wouldn't ride it. That'd be just two wheels.
Well, they always said that two wheels carry the soul, four wheels carry the body.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's interesting. This life I've gotten into is like, this is a ministry. The motorcycle part's a ministry. I minister to 1% bikers, um, and so I deal with the outlaws, the pistoleros, banditos, devil's disciples, all those guys considered the naughty boys is what my ministry is too. And
Yeah.
I and it's an interesting life and dealing with bees. You tell me you're doing bees, and I thought you was crazy, but now I know. Yeah,
I'm a crazy one.
yeah, they think I'm the crazy one with messing with bees.
All right.
Oh, excuse me. Good night, Lee.
Yeah, good night, Lee. Yeah, I'm getting off here in a few minutes too. The ice in my knee up.
Redfish, you heading out too? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we might be a short one tonight because uh yeah, I got probably get to bed myself fairly early. Man,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
I'll
to
get
go in early.
on something tomorrow. I work the early shift so I can get home earlier so I can work the bees.
Yeah. At DC, if you go with a full face helmet, I would go with the one that the face shield lifts up. It's a modular helmet with the built-in Bluetooth on it. Because if you feel any kind of vertigo, you can actually open that shield up and get wind to your face, which could help you out. So it'd be worth investing into a modular helmet. I like them because when it gets hot, I can lift them up and ride with it with the face shield lifted up. Not just the windscreen, but the whole front of the face helmet lifts up. Uh, I don't know. I mean, that'd be something to look into. DC. Um, there's also another helmet they make that basically is like heads up display in your helmet. You get a camera at the back where you can see instead of turning your head to go look, it's got a 180-degree vision camera on the back of the helmet. So all you do is look up and you can see everything to the left and right of you behind you without having to turn your head. All you gotta do is look up and then look back down. Um, just roll your eyes up and roll them back down, which would probably help. Could help with that. They're a little more expensive. Yeah, that's true
So,
too. You can test drive one too.
and I think I'm going to hop off.
All right, Tom. Good night.
Yeah, good
I thank you
talking
for
with
coming
you.
on.
Yeah,
I appreciated it.
yep. Have a good week.
You too, sir. So here we are. Okay. Yeah, DC, most helmets do block your peripheral, so you do have to turn usually. But the like I'm saying, the heads up, that's probably where you have problem with vertigo and shifting by turning left or turning right, your head left or right. With the full face with the upright inside camera built into it, would probably um, probably serve you a little better as far as that goes. And by the way, I do know too, sir, that they do give handicap license plates to motorcycle riders. So, so you can get the primo spots when if you how you want it. Huh. Scuba diving probably give you the same problem with a mask unless you use the full face mask with that with being displaced by turning your head. And believe it or not, DC, I've seen people rig a sidecar up to pull a wheelchair into and drive from the sidecar of their motorcycle. That's how bad they love riding. So there's many things that people have tried to do, and that's true too. All of them require you to equalize the ear pressure, and that also you don't have that ability to equalize the pressure. Okay, I just thought it was just a inner ear problem where you couldn't. Every now and again, it caused you to lose your balance. Or, hey, Lisa, how you doing? Let me know about Pink. How's she doing? uh, well, Morris Homestead. That is a good point because riding motorcycles can and is dangerous, but it's usually more dangerous because of the people on the other people on the road. Not so much even if you're taking um, you're paying attention. You got to watch them. It's usually the person if you're old enough and you're riding a bike and you got enough common sense, you can avoid a lot of issues. So you miss it. Cars suck. Yes, they do. Now the only time they're great is when it's pouring down rain or you're having to ride in ice and snow. It's the only good places for cars. DC. Uh, yeah, that's right, DC. It's exactly. I've had to kick a few doors. I've actually kicked a few mirrors off of doors because of people coming up on me. Yeah, your head has to be on a swivel. Definitely got to be a swivel on it, on anything. Even some people try to run you over in a car when you're driving a car. I mean, someone out there just trying to get a payday. Is what they're trying to do, make it look like you did something. Oh, and then yes, by the way, Grammy, since you were late, happy Mother's Day. Thank you, DC, for putting that in there too. All the ones that were late, women, mothers that were came late, happy Mother's Day. Yeah, Lisa, I was sort of watching part of that video before I found out that Tim wasn't going to be on tonight. Uh, of your collection, I didn't see. I saw you over there by Pink's box, but I didn't know if you didn't. I didn't catch if you said anything about her or not. Like I know he took the time to move her so you wouldn't lose her. Did you have you actually laid eyes on Pink? Uh, I sort of like that name, Very Kind Bees. Mine aren't always kind, and I sort of blame that on Bruce Jenny. Some of his genetics, I think, have gotten in my yard. He's only 2 miles away from me, so I sort of blame that on him. I can't say it's on him, but I've got 4 yards within 2 to 5 miles of my house. So I know the congregation for the drone's got to be somewhere in between here and there. So I'd almost bet that his genetics had gotten in my yard over the past couple of years. The only ones that seem to be doing pretty good are the daughters of Holly. They lay bricks. They're fairly good tempered. I do get hit by them, like I said, every now and again. So they uh they do kick up a fuss, but like today, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Those girls handed me my butt yesterday. Like I said, 10 hits before I got my veil back up. I spent about out of my yard trying to find my glasses, and every time I went out to the back, they had a couple of headhunters looking for me. I have 18 hives right now, Barry. Uh, the I have plans for in June probably taking my double deep hives and splitting them out again, which would probably give me a lot more. But right now that's my at 18, and I'll probably be at 18 till after the flow. But last year I started off with, well, I had two start of last year and ended up with 12 by the end of the year. And now I'm back up to eight, and now I'm up to 18. So it's been an interesting voyage, you know, catching my own swarms this year. Some of them didn't want to stay even after I caught them, so they're about determined to find a new home. And I guess I'm adding to the feral bees in the air. So I know I'm not doing harm. Yeah. So what's going on? How many hives do you have, Barry? Uh, I should still have the link pinned. So if anybody wants to go into come in to visit for a little bit, they're more than welcome. So, and then my chat slowed down. Goodness. And it probably won't be long. My wife is coming in to rustle me up for bed, anyways, too. So I'm gonna give it here a little bit here. So before I go and jump off, I appreciate all you guys today. Oh, 13 the original yards. So we're having other yards. Yeah, so 13 the original yards. Ooh. Yeah, well, my problem is right now, like I said, is equipment right at the moment. You still ain't gone out to you old grandma to get that doggone hive, those hives. Oh, I thought you fell asleep with Keith. I hadn't seen you in a while. I thought you'd gone, dropped off, and went to sleep. No. You should grab Deirdre by the hand and headed out there with that truck. Got those bees and brought them home. You know those bees are homesick. I don't know. As long as they've been out in you, they probably don't remember. Their same bees don't probably remember that. Remember your yard. Yeah, I know that feeling, Lisa. I'm so busy, I ain't been able to catch up. All right, Shane, you're welcome. Good night. Okay. Well, everybody, I see it slowed down here a bit. I guess I'm gonna try to sign off too. Get myself ready for tomorrow. Uh, and go and rustle me up some bees and stuff tomorrow a little bit in the afternoon if I get home early enough. Friday I didn't get home to 8 at night, so there wasn't much I could do Friday or Saturday and today. I was playing with Honey today, so I got to sign off. I tell y'all, God bless you and your bees. So be good, behave, and be hive. Until next time, love y'all.